purpose and truly showing that there is nothing too impossible. I have a great guest tonight, guys, Mrs. Kimberly Duhon. But stay right there. She sent us a video, so I'm about to let you check that out right now. It's Diva time.
All right. Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey. Good
Beautiful,
evening.
beautiful video. Beautiful video.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I am just elated to have you joining me this evening. I would like to officially welcome you to Diva Time. Again,
Hey, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
hey, the pleasure is all mine. As always, I just want to start by letting you all know how I met this beautiful woman. We had the opportunity of meeting in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It was my very first time ever being there. And there was an event that was put on by a gentleman, Mr. Michael Williams. And I was so excited to be a part of this event. And when Kimberly got up and spoke, I was just truly touched, and it was just an instant connection. And I just can't wait for you to just share your story. So I'm gonna let you jump right in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Like I said, once again, thanks again for making this opportunity available for me. The big step in what I'm doing, working towards helping myself and helping women that have been in the same situation as me. So I'm just happy to be here. Just a little bit about that video you all saw. Last year, I hosted my first annual a New Dawn Stop Domestic Violence conference. That one was held in person. I had about four vendors there to sell their items, and then I also had about 4 or 5 resources there, including Palomar, which is one of Oklahoma City's justice centers for women. And then I also had the YWCA there. I had 2 speakers from there. Norma Goff as a speaker, and Stephanie, forgive me, I can't think of her last name, but she was a speaker as well. That Then I had over 50 guests attend. So that was, for me, that was a big thing for me, since that was my first event that I had put on for survivors of domestic violence. Right. We touched bases on the red flags of domestic relationship, and 2 or 3 other topics. Excuse me, I can't remember them all. Right. We had about 3 or 4 topics that we discussed, and it was an open discussion. So people had questions. I had a young lady there who was there supporting her sister who had got killed in a domestic violent situation. So she was there to support the cause. And so many women of all walks of life and men attended. So that was great to see men there supporting us as well. So it was just a perfect opportunity for me, especially since it was something that I had been through. It was something that I hadn't really wanted to discuss, really, because I was kind of like, I don't want anybody to know this happened to me, you know.
Right, right.
And so I was like, but this is one way that I can kind of find support and not necessarily get over what happened, but can help me work past on getting over
It
what happened.
helps you heal,
Right,
help you
for
to
sure.
heal by being able to help others, and that is to step in and chime on that. That was what set it apart for me when I connected with you. Was,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of times domestic violence. Thank you for touching on the fact it affects men and women. You
Yeah.
know, and all too often, when as we openly discuss now, it's not easy in the beginning, because myself as
Mhm.
being a domestic violence survivor, you go through these periods of shame and you don't want no one to know, because especially on the outside, when you're someone who's looked at as a pillar of strength, and then when people find out, they're like, well, how could, or why, you know, and you just
Yeah.
don't want to deal. So I understand completely when you say that it is a process that helps you heal in the process of helping others. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for touching on it too, because it was one opportunity that I had. So I'm an event planner as well.
Okay.
So just a little bit about me, actually.
Yeah, I was about to
before
say,
before I
Kimberly, tell us a
dive
little bit
in.
about you. The vision. Where did it start
Yes.
for you? Yes.
So I started my event planning business back in June of 2021. I was working. I had always been working full time, 9 to 5. You know, regular mom, regular everything. You know, and so COVID happened, and I was going through a divorce. I was getting divorced and everything. And so COVID happened. I became depressed and things like that. And so I just had kind of up and quit my job. I put my 2 weeks notice in, but ended up quitting my job because I wanted to get my mind right. And
Right.
so I did therapy for about a good year and a half. And so, but all that while I was starting my business, I started out doing family engagement events, inviting
Okay.
families in the community to work together with their children to open that communication.
Right.
Because I have 3 children myself. Um, Corday, and Remy. They're 14, 9, and 8.
Okay.
They're from my previous relationships, of course. But uh, I was just kind of working, and then I started my business, like I said, doing the family engagement events. And then in March of 2022, I held a Women's History Month event,
Okay.
celebrating women once again. So, so I was kind of working towards, like, that moment of being happy, because I
Right.
started to do
Right.
more things for us women, and I started making new friends and ladies who were in business like me, and it was a great period after that. And my
Awesome.
life started progressing,
Right.
and so yes, I held my Women's History Month event, and then
Mm-hmm.
um one of my speakers, or two of my speakers that I had there, Norma Goff, which I had there for the Women's History Month event, and then she also spoke at my first annual A New Dine Stop Domestic Violence conference.
Okay.
And so I've had her numerous times. And just a side note too.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be wondering, it's like a new dawn. What is that? So I don't know. I'm gonna let you guess. Do you have any idea of what I may mean when I
A
say
new
new dawn?
beginning.
Yeah, a new beginning,
Yep.
a new start,
New
a
start.
new,
Right.
and then coincidentally, my name is Dawn as well.
Right.
So I kind of took it as a sign from God, if you will.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, God is giving me this strength. He knows that, a new day is coming. Like,
Right.
whatever you're going through, you can put this behind you,
Absolutely.
and you can move on. So I have a tattoo of my name, my middle name Don, on my shoulder. But it's just, my middle name just means a lot to me, especially after what I've been through.
Absolutely.
So because I've actually been in two domestic violence relationships. So
And with that comes with a certain sense of like a transformation that you kind of go through. You know what I'm saying? Because you do
yeah.
become a new self. When you're often in these relationships, if we can talk about it a little bit, as thinking back and reflecting in those relationships, we kind of you never see yourself in like how did this happen, or
For
at
sure.
some point in them, I don't know about you, but I know I felt like I lost myself, like I was so broke down,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
forgot my worth. So it's like for that to be at one point, and you can't really see yourself out of it. But when you actually go through it and you find yourself in a position where it's not just you, you're not alone. It kind
Right.
of becomes that kind of like coming out type of process. So,
Right.
you would you like to share some of reflections of that gave you at that point from going through that time? And if you're able, just talk to what were the moments when you kind of realized, enough is enough. I am worth this. Can you talk
Right.
about that?
For me, I think my moment was like, this is too much when I started like, this is not me. Like because like all the arguing and the physical, how physical and stuff it got, I was like, okay, so let me rewind because like I'm kind of referring to my second relationship. So the first time, um, it was a little bit different. Started out kind of friends and stuff, and then we moved in together, and then his behavior started to change, and so I was like, okay, he'll change, or
Mm-hmm.
or let me try to do something about myself so I won't um what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, I guess make him mad or whatever.
Right. Kind of trigger. Do
Yeah,
that
trigger.
trigger.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do anything to trigger because his was more of he was alcoholic, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was like every time he drank,
Yeah.
and so when I decided to get that, so I had my son. I ended up leaving when my son was six months old, and
Mm-hmm.
so when I had my son, that was like even though my son was 6 months, I was just like, I
That's
can't.
right.
I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not gonna let my baby see this.
Right.
I'm not gonna die in this house.
Right.
None of this is not gonna happen. So I end up getting out of that relationship, and then about a good year and a half, 2 years later, I end up meeting another guy. We ended up moving in together, and we ended up getting married. But before we got married, it was some signs there.
Right.
We had became physical and stuff like that before we had got married. But I had ended up getting pregnant, and so
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, well, how I was kind of brought up. I was like, even though I already had a child out of wedlock, I was
Yeah. You
still
want
kind
that
of like,
stability.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted that stability. I wanted a husband. I didn't want to be a single
Mm-hmm.
mom because he was a good provider.
Yes.
He cared about my son, and he cares about his children and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, yeah, we try to make this work. And so, but as time went by, it seemed to get worse and worse. And then when I started to fight back and do things to protect myself, um,
Yes.
it was getting kind of dangerous for me
Yes.
because I was like, this man is not gonna treat me like this. So it started picking up weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, it was like we had fights out in front of the kids in the yard, just so many things like in the streets, like it was
Right.
becoming really bad.
Out of
And
control.
so yeah, like because it started becoming like I didn't care, he didn't care.
Right.
And so finally I said enough is enough. I started looking for my own place. Unfortunately, he kind of found out about it, so he kind of felt like I was getting ready to leave him, which I was.
Mm-hmm.
But like, of course, I didn't want him to know that because I didn't want to trigger anything.
Right.
And
Right.
so just one night we were back at it. And so I just ended up packing my stuff and leaving and never went back. And then I pursued getting a divorce and everything. And then I had to end up doing my divorce on my own because, like I said, I was single mom and stuff. So I did my own divorce, went downtown and filed the paperwork and got out of it, and then, like I said, I continued my therapy after that. Not continue, but I started therapy after that because my kids is what's important to me, and I wanted to make sure that they were still right and make sure that so yeah, I just started doing therapy, and like I said, I started my business, and I started seeing a change in everything, more positive. I started thinking more positive and everything, and so I was changing my surroundings and everything too. So
and you got your new beginning, and it's definitely so beautiful. And looking back over it, as being a survivor, you see how you were being set up to be able to have the necessary skills to be able to assist in what you're doing now. Because having to go through at the time, being a single mom, a divorce, but you can tell that next man or woman how to go about the process now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
we
sure.
can emphasize the importance of counseling, which I'm a big advocate of, because there's nothing wrong with getting counseling. It is needed. And being able to truthfully share that, and that's what it's about, which led into this beautiful event that you are doing, which is this conference, which is bringing people together on a platform to be able to share their like-minded experiences that they have endured, to show that through pain comes strength, is what I say. And you have an upcoming conference coming up. Would you like to share about that?
Yeah, so it'll be yes, it'll be my second annual. This is something that I'm definitely trying to keep going, something that's definitely important to me. And a lot of ladies that I know. I actually, I was going to touch on it. I had just to know how much domestic violence is around you. I had a meet and greet, and it was about 5 of us ladies there, and it was crazy because all 5 of us had been through domestic violent relationships, and that was just like, it was saddening because it's like we all 5 women in one room, we had all been through similar situations like this. It's not right. So I definitely, the second one, of course, I have you sharing your story with us.
I'm honored.
I'm so happy, because this is something, like I said, I want to do. I want to get it out there, not just for myself, but for you. And then I have Natasha Jean, which you introduced me to, and thank you again so much for that connection. She has a new book out, The Blind Eye, and she's running for Miss Diva. So Miss Blind Diva. So y'all have a lot going on too. I'm trying to support the best way I can as well.
Yes.
And then I also have Miss Norma Goff coming back as a speaker, and then Miss Dallas Cohen. Excuse me. She's a rebound. Well, the name of her business is a rebound coach. So she does more of like life coaching and balance and stuff like that. So I actually just met her. So I'm new to Tampa. So I'm from Oklahoma. And so I ended up meeting her because I just talk a lot.
That's okay. So do I.
I can probably talk your ear off if you let me. And so I ended up talking to her one day when I was at work. And so we just kind of started conversating. She told me that she does like life coach training and stuff like that. And then we talked a little bit more, and then I invited her to be a guest on the show. And so we worked that out. And so I'm just
Beautiful.
happy about I'm happy about that upcoming event. It's October the 6th. It's the second annual A New Dawn Stop Domestic Violence Seminar is going to be online since unfortunately I'm no longer in Oklahoma. I'm in Texas now.
Yes.
And so that was part of my change as well. I wanted different surroundings, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
even though I've been divorced about 5 years now. But I still felt like Oklahoma, too many memories and,
Right.
and just too much. Like I have loved ones still there, people I still associate with and work with and stuff like that. But for me, I kind of I just had to go. I had to go.
Right.
And so,
Right.
but thankfully I have a great support system. My parents, they call me just about every day, checking up on me. And so my dad, he was like, I didn't answer the phone for I think like a day and a half. He was like, "Where you at? Where you been? You 1,000 miles away." I'm like, "Dad, we all right. I was probably just at work."
Yes.
So, but I have a great support system. My children are here with me, you know, so that was kind of a big move for them as well. And so they're getting adjusted. So I just wanted to, and some people was like, why you moved to Tampa? Why you moved to Florida? Thought I was going to be living that beach life at least 3 days a week, but no, I'm working every day full time. I even work part time. So, beach time isn't what is not really on the calendar right now, especially with
Right.
it coming up. You know, I'm trying to make sure that everything is goes well and well planned and everything because I want it to be successful.
Absolutely. And I
So
have no doubt it will be just that. And that is, sometimes, a lot of times, I know the feeling. I remember just picking up everything. It was similar. I share, which is a story of so many, and that come from this situation. Like for me, I already had a son. My son was
mhm.
my first child. And even though I was going through it, I wasn't going through it as bad. And
Yeah,
then you kind of, like you said, but for me, I came from the dynamic of not having any family. So
okay.
to be a mom, I didn't want, my sons have to grow up and not have, family. I didn't have
Yeah,
aunt and uncles and grandparents to give to my child. So I kind of, like you said, I brushed it off. I tried to think like, oh, it'll change. And then going through losing my sight, and then that was a whole nother just feeling like,
yeah,
oh, well, who gonna want me? I can't see, so I might as well put up with this. But
yeah.
having a daughter, getting pregnant, and finding out I was having a girl did something to me.
Mhm.
I did not want my daughter to see a mom who, quote unquote, was weak,
Okay.
because that's what I thought. It was something that I saw from my mother, which led to my mother, killing her attacker and being taken away from me. And,
Mhm.
for the rest of her life, having to be in prison. And it's like, I remember thinking, how could you do that? But that's why I often stress, and I'm sure you can chime on it too, when people say, well, I would never, you never know
Yeah.
what you would be, and you never know. So you
Mhm.
can't really say that, because looking back over my life, I remember saying that as a young girl, as a teenager. I
Right.
remember
Yep.
not
Yep.
understanding, how could you, and how could you be so weak? But to
Yeah.
fast forward and to go through it myself, and I was like, wow, it helped me actually come to a place of forgiveness, with being able to forgive my mom and being
Yeah.
able to get the courage to fight, because it's amazing the strength that being a mother gives you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes to
For
get to
sure.
let you know, I'm doing it for them. Kind of like the
Mhm.
same reason we stayed in it is the same
Right.
reason that helps us break free.
Right.
So
Right.
I definitely salute and commend you for this new step in your life. starting
Thank you so
over,
much.
coming somewhere you don't know anyone. It's something about that. And it's so funny with so many similarities, Kim, because I came to Florida. I went
Okay,
to
yeah.
Orlando. That was my new dawn. I was proud I got there for 7 years, kind of found myself, and have since now, you get taken out and sent to your next kind of assignment. But
Right, right.
there's nothing like taking that, I call it walk of faith,
Yeah,
to do what you need to do for you, to be the best version of you,
for
and to
sure.
truly be able to walk in your purpose. And I feel that you're doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited and honored to be a part of one of the many amazing stories that will be shared on your conference. For those out there, how can they be a part of the conference? You will just share the information so that we definitely want to pack it out online.
For sure, for
Get
sure.
some
Yes.
snacks.
Like, come on. Well, they can definitely get a hold of me. I'm trying to make sure I stay on social media because with working full time and stuff, trying to make sure I upload this because I'm a one woman show. I do sometimes have my children. My daughter, she helps me out. I call her my little assistant.
That's right. Gotta
Like,
love
come on.
them.
So I'm trying to. She's an entrepreneur as well. She's been in Girl Scouts, and I just try to make sure that she um is dating right and stuff when it's time for her, and making
Absolutely.
sure that she knows how to do certain things because growing up, like I'm a well-rounded person. Like I know how to do multiple things and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'm not just, I've been to school, I worked many jobs and stuff like that. So I know how to do things. So that's what I'm trying to teach her as well. But people can ones out there, if you're listening, you can get a hold of me on Facebook, Queen of All Trades LLC. It has my logo on there because I think it's a few more ladies with that name, business name as well. But mine has my logo and a picture of me as well. Profile picture. Then I'm also on LinkedIn under Kimberly Duhon. You should be able to see my name there, Duhon. And then I'm also on Instagram, beautiful period queen 1988. And then I'm also on Snapchat. Excuse me. Call me Miss Kim 34. So I'm out there. I can be reached, and then what else? And email. There we go. Email.
Yeah.
Events@gmail.com is how I can be reached. And my telephone number 405-493-5082. You can call or text me if I'm not available to answer as well. So I'm also like posting, I'm in a few groups on Facebook and stuff. I'm trying to connect with different ladies.
Mm-hmm.
As well. A lady just from Oklahoma just reached out to me, wanting to know like different things that I'm doing to help women who've been in domestic violence relationship. I believe she's a Bell's bondsman or something.
Okay.
So she does a little bit of work in the justice system as well. So, but I haven't had a chance to connect with her, like actually talk with her, but she reached out to me and I was just like, oh, another exciting,
Yes.
opportunity. So anytime that I can help, or because like I said, I do event planning. So I love to help people. I love to make sure people are taken care of. I love to make sure that people have what they need. And
Absolutely.
most of my events that so when I started my business, as I touched on in the beginning, those were like the family engagement events because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, from what I was going through, I know many moms, many families are probably going through the same thing and trying to find time and trying to find,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do with
Absolutely.
my kids and what can I, just kind of, I
Right.
wanted to bring parents out the house to do stuff with their kids. I wanted, it was a whole bunch, but it was for family engagement.
Yes.
That was the whole purpose behind the events that I had, and I was paying for them out of pocket, or I would try to have a like fundraiser as well. But some of it I paid for on my
Yep.
own, just because it was something that I wanted to
You
do,
want to
because
do?
I
Yep.
cared about it. I didn't care about the money, or it was
That's right.
free. It was
That's
free. It
right.
was for the community, and so um, it's very important to me for children to learn their basic needs and what to do around the house as far as
Right.
cleaning, hygiene, like just helping, like everybody
Hmm.
doing their part, you know. And so, because as a single mom, I don't want to do everything myself, like, you know, so just teach
Right.
me how to make
And you never know, and
right.
that's something important, and that's something that I always want to emphasize, and I'm glad that you are someone that's out there in the community offering that, because growing up in the system, I grew up in the system, there was nobody to teach me the basic fundamentals of life. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I had to turn to learning it on the street, which is not always the best way,
right.
but then again, later on in life, it prepares you. But then I was in an accident that left me blind. I had a 6-year-old son at the time, and my daughter was newborn, not being able to
Yeah,
see. So it's like, as I was learning my life, how to adapt without sight, my son
yeah,
had to grow up. And there were certain
yeah,
things that I had to teach him, the basic fundamentals still, regardless of me not being able to see. I was learning, I had to teach him. And I always stress that, because kids nowadays, they need to know that, because you never know what hand
mhm,
life is going to deal you. You may
yeah,
lose your parents. Your parents may get ill. You may get in a situation where you're on your own, and it helps to be able to know
yeah,
the basic fundamentals of life and how
yeah,
to survive, so you don't have to get in survival mode and resort
right.
to doing those things that I need this. I don't know how to do it no other way. So I love
Right.
hearing about community leaders and advocates that are doing just that, with
Yes, for
not
sure.
just being able to teach because it is needed. Because at the end of the day, you look for elements to learn those essentials in life. So
Yeah,
I definitely think that is a great addition that you are doing. So definitely,
yeah,
and very important, because a lot of times in these domestic violence situations, the kids kind of become the ones that are the ones that have to do it all. You know what I
yeah,
mean? In some instances, and it's like it can be overwhelming. So when you kind
yeah.
of you're coming out and your new beginning, it's like now they have to go back to, you could just be a kid now. You don't
Right,
have to be mommy's protector or daddy's protector if it's a male. You don't have to worry
yeah,
about how to do interference. You can go back to being a child.
right,
So to offer those full services, Kimberly, that is amazing.
yeah,
And all of those elements of contact to get a hold of you, make sure they will be listed in the comments, and you can
okay,
always get information off of my page to get in touch with Kimberly if you are interested in any of those resources.
yeah,
Be
sure.
one real quick thing I would like. What are some tips you would give to anyone watching right now who may be in a current domestic violence situation? What are some tips you would
Mhm.
give if they are kind of on that kind of tightrope of, should I leave or should I stay, but may not know how? Could you share some tips?
I think I've never been really asked that question before, because I I would definitely tip one, leave.
Yep.
Leave. That's, that's the first tip. Yes, definitely leave. So like with me, I planned it. I didn't
Yeah.
just get up and walk out, you know,
Hmm.
cause but I planned it as much as I could. Like, you know, you definitely have to do things secretively, you know, like if I know some websites, you know, if you are um trying to leave, you know, make sure that you're using the available resources, the community resources, reaching out to them, and things like that. But save money as
Definitely.
much as you can.
Yes.
Because when you leave, sometimes in some of these situations, the man or the whoever's being the abusive one may be the breadwinner,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so if you're able to save some money here and there, do it. If you have
Absolutely.
family that you can go stay with, do it. But sometimes, and I say stay with family, but sometimes that's not wise,
Mm. Yes.
because then your family will end up getting involved.
Yes.
And that could be a big thing too. So just trying to plan things safely and quickly as possible, to get your kids, even if you need to go to a hotel, even if you need to move to a different state, but just plan accordingly. If you have to
Yeah.
hide things, now don't leave things written down, don't leave things up on your computer, don't leave things where whoever's harming you can find those things, because as we know, when he starts getting physical because somebody found something, or like accusations and stuff like that start coming, and you that'll start something else. So just playing it safe. Just I think that would be my number 3 tip: playing it safe, save money, plan accordingly.
Great advice. Great
Because
advice.
how your household is typically ran.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's great advice.
I
I mean,
couldn't
a
hear
lot of
you cut
times.
out.
Oh, I said that was great advice. Those tips, because a lot of times
Okay.
it is if you can have the opportunity to plan, but the ultimate step is leave, and those are great tips. And again, that online seminar is going to be on October the 6th. And what time is it going to be, Kim?
It's gonna be at 2 o'clock. The
All right.
seminar starts at 2 o'clock, 2 to 3, and then from 3 to 4, we'll be having you and Miss Natasha Jeans share your story, and I'll be sharing a little bit more of mine as well. So be sure to tune in. They can
All right.
buy
That is
tickets on
wonderful. Tune in, tune in.
Eventbrite.com under a new Don Stop Domestic Violence.
Thank you so much. That is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm just excited, cannot wait. And as always, I am grateful and thankful for
What'd you say?
I said I am grateful and thankful for you taking the time to
Uh-oh.
be with me
Can you hear me?
this evening.
Oh,
Can you hear me? I am. Can you hear me, Kim?
for sure.
Okay, so I got you back. All right, had a little static there, but I just wanted to thank you for being with us this evening
It's
and
cutting
sharing
out
your
a little bit, but
story.
I can hear you for the most part.
Okay, and I want to thank you for sharing about your event and all of your life's journey, and we want you to
I
continue to
think that
uplift and inspire. With that being said, I will ask for you to leave us with any final remarks or words of encouragement. And I think it's a little bit going in and out, but okay, you hear me now? All right. So with that being said, looks like I have a little bit of technical there on the end. So we want to thank Kimberly so very much for being with us this evening on Diva Time. As always, we are all true kings and queens in our own right. So no matter what the situation may be, remember to always keep your head held high, stay strong, and never allow your crown to fall. Until next week, I want you guys to have a phenomenal week. And remember, let no one dim your light. Love you. Peace and blessings. Bye.